You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Well, guys, we're going to be talking about former ESPN Sports Center at 6 host Jemele Hill here in this video, guys. Jemele Hill is one of the worst people out there in the sports media. I truly do believe, guys, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that Jemele Hill got Sports Center at 6 because of affirmative action. That Jemele Hill is a black leftist, and Sports Center at 6, it completely bombed. Her and Michael Smith, there was no sports. It was nothing more than pretty much Trump hate on Sports Center at 6 on Jemele Hill. That she came out, called Donald Trump a white supremacist, all this stuff. And eventually, man, she got too woke, even for ESPN. They actually had to fire her. She has been an unmitigated disaster, and Jemele Hill is nothing more than a racist. Now, that actually brings us to the Supreme Court. As you guys probably already know, when it comes to affirmative action, that's over, guys. The Supreme Court said no, you cannot be racist when it comes to admitting students to college. And the people that actually brought this lawsuit was actually Asian Americans. Because when it came to college admissions, especially like at Harvard, they were getting a short end of the stick. Why? It's because academically, they should have got admitted. But however, because of wokeness, because of racism, they were getting a short end of the stick. They weren't being admitted. And they were actually letting black people in that academically couldn't match up to the Asian people. The Supreme Court said, no, that must stop. It must stop. But however, Jemele Hill, oh boy, she's a leftist. And just like all these other leftists, she is triggered. No wonder, guys, that this woman has pretty much failed at everything she has done. She is terrible. She's terrible at sports, terrible at everything. Let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. Former ESPN host rips Jemele Hill for Asian Americans' opinion. And we're actually talking about Jason Whitlock here. Jason Whitlock actually tried to find what she had actually posted on Twitter, but she has Jason Whitlock actually blocked. And Jason Whitlock actually roasted her for her opinion. Now, check this out. This tweet right here is from an Asian lady here, and I'm probably going to mispronounce her name here. I'm sorry about that. Yayatin Chu. When the decision actually came down, she wrote this: I told my daughter that today is a bit day. They ended affirmative action. Quote, isn't it what you've been fighting for? She asked. I said yes. And it's a very good day because I believe there should be no racism whatsoever when it comes to anything, to tell you the truth. Not just college, but anything. But in this case, we're actually talking about college. This is what Jemele Hill wrote. Look at this. And she's directed this towards Asian Americans right here. It's pretty racist if you actually ask me. Jemele Hill writes, can't wait until she reads that you gladly carried the water for white supremacy and stabbed the folks in the back whose people fought diligently for Asian American rights in America. Wow. So she is equivocating these Asian people to white supremacists. Look at this, guys. Jason Whitlock, he weighs in because he finally was able to see what Jemele Hill actually wrote. Look at this here. And you know that Jason Whitlock, he's not going to hold back at all. He wrote, quote, good Lord, Jemele argued that we black people fought diligently for Asian American rights. This is the kind of detached from reality logic that earned her promotions at the Detroit Free Press, Orlando Sentinel, and ESPN. Or was it affirmative action? There's far more proof and burial plots of white evangelicals fighting for black American rights than Black Americans fighting for the rights of Asians. She's just dumb and dishonest. She's Exhibit A and why the elimination of affirmative action is necessary. Credentialing idiots is not a good idea, he wrote. Man, absolutely just unloaded on Jemele Hill. Yeah, Jemele Hill, guys, is a complete and utter racist. She is a racist. You know, the left is always talking about, you know what, stop being racist. How about the left just stop being racist then? The way you actually end racism is to, newsflash, end racism. Boy, I'm not surprised that Jemele Hill actually came out and said this. Not in the least bit. When she was on ESPN, this is the kind of stuff that she did. And this is the kind of stuff that eventually got her fired. Jemele Hill is a racist. She is a far left Marxist. I mean, she was actually on the stage with, what was the guy's name? The anti-racist guy that is actually really, really racist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but he was actually asked to define racism or racist, and he really, really gave this dumb answer by defining racist using the term racist. Pretty dumb. She was right there. But I guess, you know, they're just two peas in a pod. They're just dumb and they're racist themselves. This is why Jemele Hill was let go by ESPN. And now she's going after Asian Americans who actually were fighting for their rights. I believe in the best man for the job. You know, it's kind of funny, guys, when it actually comes to like the NBA. When it comes to the NBA is overwhelmingly black. Something like what? 75, 80% black. Jemele Hill has nothing to say about that. The race hustlers have nothing to say about the NBA being too black. But now you got like the NHL. The woke are going after the NHL for actually being too white. How about this? If black people want to play hockey, they can. If white people want to play basketball, they can. Nobody's stopping anybody. But the race crusaders must keep racism alive by doing what? By being racist. This is Jemele Hill. I'm not shocked whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that you guys are not shocked either. Jemele Hill is a horrible human being. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.